Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel Tiny Learn Hub. Here we are basically discussing all the SQL interview level question series, and here we learn one practical SQL concept in every episode. So, in the previous episode, we learned the difference between select and distinct, and then we explored where and having. Today, we are going to learn one of the most important SQL concept that every SQL developer uses almost every day, that is group by. If you have ever wondered how companies calculate total sales, average salaries, department-wise reports, or monthly revenue, then group by is one of the main SQL feature that makes all it possible. By the end of this video, you will understand not only how group by works, but also when to use it in the real world project and how interviews are going to ask on the basis of this group by concept. So, let's understand the first query, that is select star from employee. So here, before writing any kind of SQL queries, the first thing every developer should do in is to understand the data. The let's look at the employee table first. Okay. So in each employee, as you see in this employee data table, every employee has the employee ID, employee name, department, and salary. So notice something interesting. Every employee belongs to a department. Although every employee name is unique, several employees belong to the same department. For example, IT has multiple employee, HR has multiple employees, finance also has multiple employees. This repeating information is exactly where group by becomes useful. Now, in the interviewer, if they ask how many employees work in the each department, can you answer that question just by using select only? Make 2 seconds and then think about it. Okay. So no, that is not the thing. That's exactly where SQL provides group by. So in here now. If I want to execute this second query, that is select department from employee. So let's see what happened without group by. So this query simply returns every department from the employee table. As you can see, the same department appears multiple times and the SQL showing every individual rows because we haven't told it to combine into it in a similar values. Now let's solve this problem first. So now what do you think will happen if we use the group by? Will SQL show every employees or will it combine departments? Let's find out that thing. So I am using group by, okay, in my third query. So in here, now something completely different happening instead of displaying every employee. Let me run the query first. Okay. So instead of displaying every employee, SQL creates one group for each department. One group for IT, one group for HR, and one group for finance. Then counts the number of employee inside each group by using this count. This is the real power of group by. Instead of looking at multiple rows, we are now looking at the summarized information. This is exactly how dashboards or reports are generated in every company. Okay. Now, imagine you work for a MNC and this company has multiple, millions of customers. So if your manager asks you like how many orders came from each country, so you don't want to see every single order. You want one row for India, one row for USA, and one row for Germany, for and many more. and along with the total number of orders. That's exactly what group by does. Now, let me ask you another question. Can group by only count the records, or can it also calculate the average and totals? Let's find out in our next query on that way. So here we are calculating the average of the salary for every department. Okay, let me run this query. So notice that SQL first groups the employee, then it will uh, only does the calculation of average after it performs the grouping. After now, if you want to see all the total salaries on the basis of the department, so that will be the sum of the salaries of all the departments. So let me run this one. So if manages if it is managed to know the salary budget for each department, sum is the perfect choice. Now, if I want to see the maximum salary, okay. So let me run this query first. So as you see, this max returns the highest salary from every department. And if I want to execute my next query, it will give you the minimum returns, the minimum salary of every department, the smallest salary in each department, it will give you. So, like here a question that interviewers love to ask what do you think will happen if I write this query? Like suppose I want to write this query like this way, that is select employee name, department from employee, group by departments. So let's execute this query. Yeah. Now see, this query will generate an error in most SQL database. Why? Because employee name is neither grouped or non-aggregated. Whenever you use the group by, every column in the select statement must either be included in group by, or be used within aggregated function like count, sum, average, minimum, or maximum. This is one of the most common SQL interview question. So now for the interview tips, here is a quick interview tip. Like if someone asks you, when should we use the group by? Don't answer to group the data. Instead, group by is used to summarize the rows that share the same value and typically combined with aggregate function such as count, sum, average, minimum, and maximum. That answer sounds much more efficient and professional during interviews. So in this particular video, let's quickly recap what we have learned today. So the first thing is group by. Second is that group by combines the similar row. Counts, counts is the records. This is a count. Count, counts the records, and average is basically calculate the averages. Sum is basically showing to calculate all the total numbers, and maximum finds the highest value, and what is the minimum? Minimum finds the lowest value. And remember, Group by is one of the most frequently used SQL clause in reporting and analytics. So if you find this video useful and helpful, please consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel. This is the SQL interview question where we basically learns all the SQL concept in every episode. In the next video, we will explore the aggregate function in SQL in more depth, solve the interview focused example, and then you will likely encounter in technical interviews. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next episode. Till then, bye.